Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's going to be Princess-Mika taking on ThePerilousProtossBot, or as I like to call it, the PPB. And yes, so we've got a PVZ today, but more importantly, a bot versus bot matchup between two bots that are quite actively developed, it seems. And so we'll just see what they're going to bring out here today. And it looks like Princess-Mika is actually going for a bit of an early spawning pool. Whereas, actually both bots seem like they're going for a bit of a scout too. So scouting is a good first step, as you gotta know what the heck's going on in a game. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one, if you haven't already, make sure to go ahead, click that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot matches. And then subscribe if you're not already subscribed, as this is the only place you can get daily StarCraft 2 bot matches. Alright, so we have got a Nexus going up for the ThePerilousProtossBot. Gateway Nexus, normal opening from the toss, and then just getting out a safety Zealot prior to the Cyber Core. Meanwhile, Princess-Mika is producing a few lings out of this early spawning pool and a Roach Warren behind this. So the Blue Zerg is getting aggressive, at least a little bit aggressive, and then it's just printing in chat all kinds of things, as the ThePerilousProtossBot does have that Nexus building. It's got the one Zealot out, but nothing else. We'll see if that Zealot tucks itself into the wall to be safe against these Zerglings or not. We might need to see a bit of a probe pull or something like that. The Zealot, though, is responding to the Zerglings attacking the Nexus, but it does just path on down there. It takes some damage, begins kiting back, says you shall not pass, as it tries to tuck itself into that wall, but then straight up just runs past and lets the Zerglings in. So lings are going to cause a bit of a problem for the ThePerilousProtossBot, at least until this extra Zealot gets out. Probes are taking damage, but are not really fighting against the lings. No zappage going on. It's only two lings, but there is no response from the probes. They're just acting confused like dodos. And yes, that's quite unfortunate for the ThePerilousProtossBot. It can afford to take some damage, as Princess-Mika opened rather aggressively and hurt its own economy. However, it seems the red ThePerilousProtossBot will be losing the Nexus. Behind this, Princess-Mika has a Baneling nest on the way, just a trickle of lings still on the way. And let's see, the Zealot has got a shield battery, but it's actually good. Okay, it paths wrong for a moment, but then it does start slashing, but then yeah, it does get stuck and isn't actually fighting the lings. Another Zealot, or pardon me, a Stalker actually comes on out to try and save the day. One Stalker against a bunch of lings. It is at least shooting, which is important to see. So, and then we even get some probes pulling to fight, which is interesting that the probes are willing to fight to help the Stalker, but not to save themselves in the mineral line. So not a flawless defense from the ThePerilousProtossBot. However, it's just slow production has been able to handle the lings. Princess-Mika is on 25 drones and up a base, so in a pretty solid spot. Meanwhile, we do have 10 more lings coming on in and getting aggressive. There is two Zealots that are going to fight the lings. I'm not sure they'll win that fight. The Stalker and the Zealot should be able to at least whittle the number down. The Zealot, yeah, doing okay. The battery, unfortunately, out of energy. The PPB is pulling some more probes to respond to this. The Stalker is kiting back, popping off the lings. Meanwhile, an Adept did pop out, so the PPB holds on for now. Its position, dare I say, is still a little bit perilous, as it does just have a third gateway going up, no warp gate. Meanwhile, Princess-Mika is on two bases and getting reasonably well saturated. The Zerg bot all of a sudden decides to build a ton of spine crawlers. I guess just being safe. That may be the turtle part of the build it mentioned. And then, yeah, just transitioning, it seems. double gas, no lair started just yet, just a lot of spine crawlers building. The Perilous ProtossBot may have a minute to breathe. It is producing lots of adepts, so still very much in a defensive mode. But then we do have the potential for an expansion down the line. Princess-Mika will probably be safe from any aggression with all its spine crawlers, unless the adepts just shaded right on by them, which is an option. However, generally bot authors seem to be more conservative when it comes to using the adept shades. Humans will just be like, yeah, full send, this looks alright. If you program that into a bot, you might just have a bunch of dead adepts on your hand. Princess-Mika is now producing roaches out of that roach warren, either to be extra defensive or to get aggressive. The Perilous ProtossBot sent one zealot out, so seeking information. That poor zealot unfortunately draws the short straw and has to go across the map. It does end up dying. The Perilous ProtossBot still just chilling on one base, getting up a Robo, a Twilight Council. We are getting Warp Gate and a Sentry on the way, so that is nice to see. It's one of the signs that a ProtossBot is reasonably advanced, getting Warp Gate, as it does take a bit of programming effort. I think it's one of the things that is absolutely worth it for a bot author. The PPB is down on economy by a significant amount, though. Princess-Mika at 52 drones is arguably oversaturated, and so it should be starting up a third base, unless it's going to get aggressive. As the creep spread is in effect, looks like it's just a couple of tumors that are placed down, but that is starting to work its way across the map. The Zealot for the PPB is scouting, runs into the Roach, but probably wants to turn around. Meanwhile, we have got Resonating Glaives on the way, and a Prism. So the Perilous ProtossBot could just be full sending it off of one base, and that may work. It's got a small army supply lead. The units are currently blocking an attempt at a Nexus, so these fatties gotta move. And they do get out of the way eventually. A couple more pylons going down for the Perilous ProtossBot. So there may be a macro transition from the red Protoss. It's not going to be a comfortable position. However, Princess-Mika has at least delayed its third base, arguably longer than it should, as 58 drones on two bases is too much, I think. Because you want 16 across the minerals, I guess, for all the gases. So you want, well, oh gosh, math is hard. That's 22. So yeah, you want like 44 across two bases, right? I'm trying to do math. I'm also a bit hungry, so that just increases the difficulty. So let's see here, as there is Hydras on the way for Princess-Mika. Those are a very well-rounded Zerg unit. They can shoot up, they can shoot down, they just have high damage and are pretty general, and so that is definitely a good unit for a Zerg bot to produce. The Perilous ProtossBot is getting out an Immortal. A battery or two at the natural may be nice, unless it is going for an attack or a third base. For now, things are just being pretty calm. Princess-Mika is now in the lead in army supply, which isn't surprising, as it has got a vastly superior economy. The Zerg is going for a hatchery, and we'll see if we get that drone transfer as soon as that hatchery finishes up. Looks like we do. So that's quite nice, those extra drones being sent there by Princess-Mika. And yes, I guess just to retouch on the drone thing, as this attack is coming in, I'll try and be quick. It's not a bad thing if you're producing extra drones, as we get some force fields from the Perilous ProtossBot trying to defend. You want to have the base finish up in a reasonably timely manner. The Protoss is on the defense. The force fields, I think there were multiple there, do help wall this Zerg army out, and the Concave is quite nice to actually take a pretty solid trade. Now, the Perilous ProtossBot does have an Observer on the way. Upon seeing that burrow, the Roaches do unburrow and are getting killed. Hydras are fighting, but they're just not high enough in number. They are able to pick off the Sentry with their high damage, though. And so, while it's not a great trade for Princess-Mika, the Zerg can afford to take worse trades, as it's going to be on 4 bases, and that, yeah, will just allow it a lot more wiggle room. So the PPB's probably going to have to rely on a solid defense, just while maybe building up an army, taking nice trades over and over again. Princess-Mika is building mutas, which is cool to see. as it does seem to be getting aggressive with them. The muted does go down. They are definitely an underutilized, well, I don't know. We just don't see them too much from bots. I don't want to say underutilized because the jury's still out on whether they're good or not for bots to make use of. But yeah, so it's cool to see Princess-Mika showing us that it can produce pretty much all the units in the Zerg arsenal, use them pretty darn well. For now, though, the Protoss has got a nice defensive position and kills off a Corruptor. The Adepts are good at buffering. There's the shield battery, a few Immortals. So the PPB is holding on, using that Prism to juggle these units. I really like the usage there. Roaches are going down. The Protoss bot is down on army supply. However, the fights have generally been good, and now the PPB is getting aggressive. The Prism comes forward. We'll see if it can juggle some units, maybe save some lives, picks up an Adept, and is kiting back against all the Zerglings as Princess-Mika is pushing forward with these Hydras, and the numbers are quite high now. The Perilous Protoss bot is sectioned off from its natural, so what was good fights early on maybe is turning against the PPB. Being out on creep, it does lose a lot of its units. It would have been much better off defending at that natural. I think the Prism actually carried some units away from that fight. We've now got slow Banelings waddling up. The Perilous Protoss bot is kiting back, however the defense is going to be an uphill battle at this point. The supply is quite low. The force fields are nice, and is that just like a perfectly placed force field? I'm pretty sure the Hydras could slip around the edges, but Princess-Mika maybe doesn't want to do that. And now the Perilous Protoss bot is under just a lot of pressure. I'm not sure it's going to be able to hold on. A force field goes down once more, but yeah, that fight just was not it. If the PPB takes a decent fight, maybe it holds on, maybe it can play the game out, but it did overextend a little bit. And yeah, Princess-Mika, just producing all the units, is going to be able to take this game. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, click that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. A bit of a shorter one today, but I think it's fun to explore the kind of shorter batches. And yeah, join the Discord if you guys haven't already. We do announcements every time there's a tournament, such as on the Saturdays, anytime we got other things going on. That is pretty much it now, though, as the Prism is just doing some juggling, but staying put. Yeah, it's honestly nice to see two bots that have got pretty much all the functionality in them, because, yeah, like, they both have pretty nice behavior, these two, and then it's just maybe with a bit of refinement they could be some very serious contenders. Princess-Mika able to overpower its opponent, though, and that is it for this one. If you guys want to support the channel, consider becoming a YouTube member. It goes a long way, and big thanks to everyone who does. That is it, though. GG.